So in this particular question, we are asked a fair die is rolled 3 times. What is the probability that it comes up 2 at least once? Now the key here is this at least once, okay? That means basically we want a 2 to come up either once, twice, or 3 times. The only way that this cannot happen, let's see here, we have roll a die 3 times. Okay, we want a 2 to come up here, or we want a 2 to come up here, or we want a 2 to come up here, or we want a 2 and a 2, or we want a 2 and a 2, or we want a 2 and a 2, or we want all of them to be 2s. So we would have to figure out the probability for all of these things. But when we're looking at least one, remember that at least once is the same thing as saying 1 minus that it never comes up. Because remember, the probability of all the possible outcomes add up to 1. So here we're talking about the time where it's never a 2. Now it could be a 1, 1, 1, a 3, 3, 3, a 4, 4, 4, or it could be a 1, 3, 4, those types of things. Honestly, I don't want to add those up either. So the probability of never coming up, there are 5 possibilities, because if you think about it, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Well, we never want this one to, we also have 6. We don't want this one to come up. So that leaves us with 5 possibilities out of 6, because we have a total of 6 possible outcomes where we roll a die. We're rolling a die 3 times. So I'm going to raise that to the 3rd power. It's the same thing as saying I have 5/6 chance here, times a 5/6 chance here, times a 5/6 chance here. Okay? And I'm going to subtract that from 1, because this is the case if a 2 never comes up. So whenever I multiply these together, 5/6 times 5/6 times 5/6, you can either do it with your calculator and get a decimal, you can also do it using fractions, either way. But I did notice that this tells me to round to 4 decimal places. So whenever I take these 3 and multiply them together, it gives me 0.5787. And I'm going to take that from 1. So 1 minus 0.5787 is going to give me a 0.4213. So anytime that you're talking about an at least problem, you need to make sure that you subtract it from 1 and then all of them, okay? Let me know if you still have questions.